Hello, this is Herb Owen with another great parenting principle. Today we're going to talk about one maybe you've never thought about, the biggest mistakes that good parents make. Now we know bad parents, those people over there, we know they make mistakes. But sometimes good parents, trying to do the right thing, end up doing the exact opposite of what they should be doing because they've never thought about it. So today we're going to look at some big mistakes that good parents make. And as we talk, I hope you'll think about your life. Think about when you bring a baby home. What do people say to the baby? They look at the baby and go, "Ah, Google, yeah, look at you. Oh, look at little baby." Now, everybody does that. And why? I have no idea. The fact is, think about how children learn to speak their native language. They learn listening to the adults around them. So if you want your child to speak good English to your child. When you bring home your baby, speak simple sentences with simple words. Now you say, "My child can't understand me," but they will. They'll hear these words and they'll learn to interpret them. That's how people learn a language. You don't want your child growing up and you say, "Don't talk baby talk," and they say, "Well, you used to talk that way to me." So the first mistake we're talking about is talking baby talk with your child. Don't talk that way. I've known parents that when they're pregnant, they start thinking about, how can I get my child into a good 3-year-old preschool? What a mistake. Look, kids don't have to go to preschool when they're 3 or even 4. And although it's usually required by law, kids don't even need kindergarten to succeed. Parents make the mistake of thinking, "I've got to teach my child everything before he's 5. He's got to be a good reader when he's 5. Don't make the mistake of starting children in school too early. You can wait on this. Kids will learn and they'll catch up. You don't have to teach your child everything before he's walking. If your child is a quick learner, that's okay, but don't think it's a requirement. The next thing has to do with parents who walk all over trying to be a part of their child's life. We call them helicopter parents. Now, you want to be a part of your child's life, but not hovering over everything your child does. You want your child to learn to develop personality and to develop relationships, and they can only do that without you getting involved. Another similar issue is parents who try to be snowplower parents. These are moms and dads who go ahead of their child to make sure they don't face any stress, nothing goes wrong, they handle all the problems before the child gets there. That means your child will never learn to solve problems. You don't want to do that. Don't solve every problem or make everything easy before your child's there. Next, that's parents who try to protect their kids from the wrong things. I once had a mother come to me and say that she was concerned, this was many years ago, that her child was getting interested in Pokemon cards. I told her, "Ma'am, if your child goes off and does wrong things, I want to assure you it won't be cards that did it to him." She was getting concerned about the wrong thing. Once, a long time ago, a chapel speaker came to a Christian school and talked about all of the evil in the Smurfs. And a friend of mine said, "Some of these kids are doing cocaine every weekend, and he's talking about the Smurfs." So don't protect your kids from the wrong things. Don't protect your child from minor things. Now here's one that some of you won't believe. Some parents are really afraid that their child will get hurt, so they protect their children from everything. They won't let them do anything that looks a little bit dangerous. Don't do that. I want to recommend a book. And in this book, the author gives you clear, specific things that sound dangerous, but with you there and giving your child the proper training, your child can learn to do them and become self-confident. Some examples are, let's look at them. Allow your child to lick the end of a 9-volt battery Now you may say, my child will get electrocuted. No, that won't happen. Your child will feel the tingle of electricity. You're helping your child see how powerful electricity is, but in a way and a place that won't hurt him. Nobody ever died or got great injury or any kind of injury licking the end of a 9-volt battery. It just reminds you not to do that again. So things like this are important. Next, teach your child to do a really good somersault. Some children never learn this. So in the book, the author explains how to help your child do this so your child can build self-confidence and do something that you'll think, my child will get hurt. No, he won't. Here's one. Allow your child to burn something using a magnifying glass. Now, I did this when I was a kid, and I never burnt down the house. You want to show your child how sun rays can be focused in a magnifying glass and make enough heat, say, to burn a leaf or a little piece of paper. This is great for children to see the power of the sun. And you show them how to do it, remind them what not to do, and it becomes a really fun experiment that your kids will enjoy. One of my school teachers and my parents were wise enough to encourage me to do this. Here's one that may scare you. Allow your child to see what happens when you put the wrong things in the microwave oven. Now, the author gives you clear, specific examples of things you can put in a microwave that normally you wouldn't. But putting them won't cause great damage, but helps your kids see the power of a microwave oven and what it can do. This is a wonderful thing to allow your child to try and experiment with. Also, allow your child to learn to use a hammer. You say, no, he'll smash his fingers in. He will if you never let him learn how to do it. Teach your child how to hold a nail and how to use a hammer, a basic life skill. And here's one. Allow your child, as a child, to drive your car. What could I mean? Find a big parking lot. Put your child in your lap. Let him control the steering wheel while you control the gas and the brakes. He can't hurt anything because you're controlling the stopping and starting. But you can allow your child to see what it feels like to actually drive a car. Kids love this. It builds their confidence. It shows them that you trust them and gets them ready to one day drive on their own. You know, some children will do anything to be part of a group, and they don't know what to do. That's how kids get in trouble. They sometimes do bad things so the group will like them. You don't want that to happen to your child. You want your child to be prepared for this temptation. So a mistake is failing to protect your kids from peer pressure. And you want your child to build friends in good ways, not doing wrong things so the other kids will think you're cool. That's how kids start cussing, because nobody's around to stop them. Should kids take music lessons? Boy, I was in the band in 4th grade. It was great for me. Should kids play sports? Many times. But parents should never make your kids play sports, take music lessons, and do other things if they hate them. I started taking music lessons. I joined the band and learned to play the clarinet because I really wanted to. Now, it is good for kids to take piano lessons, but don't make them do it if they don't want to. You'll teach them to hate it. Here's one. Don't give your child too much praise. You say, I can't give my child too much praise. Yes, you can. If you praise every little thing your child does and make him think he's the most wonderful person in the world for doing common, ordinary things, your praise will begin to mean nothing. He'll think, oh, that's just Mama. She brags on me for everything. If you ever saw the early years of American Idol, people would go on there and audition that were horrible. And you wonder who told that child he could sing. I guarantee you his parents did. Don't ever give your child praise for everything he does or for doing things that he can't do well. If he doesn't do them well, ask him, what do you think? How do you think it went? Often he'll know it wasn't good. And you can say, well, maybe you can try again. Here's one. Don't fight all of your child's battles. Your child may have to learn conflict resolution when he's 10 years old. This is a skill. Don't solve all of his problems. Don't fight all of his battles. He's got to learn to do this on his own. He may ask you for advice. That's okay. But don't give it to him unless he wants it. If you ask any teacher who's taught school for the last, say, 30 years, you say, what have you seen the biggest change in education? They'll tell you, parents do anything to worship their kids. So don't make your child the center of your family. Make your child a part of it, but expect your child to do the right things, and don't just focus all of your attention on your child. Have some attention on your family as a whole. Some parents, everything their child does, they take them off to the toy store and buy them a prize. Don't over-reward your child. This is teaching your child that everything he does that's above ordinary will get him a reward, and life doesn't work that way. So don't do it. Don't over-reward your child. Also, don't do your child's homework. My wife is a school teacher, and one time a parent told her, she says, we have 3 hours of homework every night. And my wife said, we? And the mother says, yes, I'm right there. And my wife said, ma'am, it's not your homework. It's your child's homework. You can answer questions, give him explanation of requirements and what he should be doing, but don't do it for him. Back off. If you keep doing this, when your child goes to college, you better be his roommate, or he won't be able to function without you. Babying your child, thinking your child doesn't know how to do anything. You say, well, he's running the vacuum. He doesn't know how to do it. He's not going to hurt anything. Just let him do his best. Maybe you could say, okay, what else do you think you could do? But don't baby your child and be there to undo every little thing he does. He's got to make mistakes growing up. He won't do things perfectly, and you've got to be okay with that. Here's one. A mother takes her child to talk to the teacher, and the teacher asks, what's your favorite subject? And the mother says, he loves science. I think he's going to be a scientist when he grows up. And the teacher says, do you have any good friends? The mother says, it's this guy Tommy. He loves him. At that point, I would be tempted to ask the mother, ma'am, I am so embarrassed. I had no idea your child doesn't speak English. Don't answer for your child. You say, he may just stand there, sit there. That's okay. Don't do things just to make you look like a good parent. Also, I've paid a child a compliment, a little child, say, oh, that baby is so cute. And the mother says, Susie says thank you. No, she didn't. You did. Don't respond for everything for your child. Or somebody does something nice for your child and you said, well, I'm sure he's thanking you. Teach him to say thank you, to be grateful. You say, suppose he doesn't do it. Talk about it when you get home. Don't answer for your child. Here's when parents, moms especially, be very careful. Don't fail to take care of your own needs. You are a human being, not a mothering and wifing machine. You need rest. You need time off. I know a mother who had 6 kids, and she told them, look, this is Dad's in my bedroom. Now, when we're in here and the door is shut, you don't interrupt us unless there's an emergency. And she gave them examples of what an emergency is. You need time for yourself. Also, don't ignore your spouse. Sometimes mothers especially get so busy doing the things they do that your husband gets lost in the shuffle. Don't put your children before your marriage. That will be destructive. Love your kids, but love your spouse even more and meet his or her needs. This is an especially large problem for parents who are divorced or separated. You have custody of the child that weekend and you start telling him every awful thing his father might have done. Don't say negative things about the child's other parent. Don't do that. The parent may have hurt you, but it's still your child's parent. You want your child to respect him. Does this look like your child's calendar? Somebody has told parents, oh, your child has to have something every day. They've got to stay busy. And I'm wondering who said that and why in the world did you believe it? Oh, there's church on Sunday, but sometimes parents even schedule that third soccer team that practices on Sunday. Don't do that. Your child needs time to think, to create, to just hang around the house, to explore the backyard. Don't give your child too much to do. Let him find things on his own. Your mistake is involving your child in too many activities. When selecting activities, ask yourself which ones will matter in 10 years. Now that's a good picture. A child on his dad's back. That's great. And the child says, Dad, you're my best friend. That's great. But it shouldn't stay that way. You want your child to develop other interests, to develop other relationships. Don't be your child's best friend too long. If you do, it's not to meet your child's needs. It's to meet your need. And your child should not help meet your social needs or build your self-image. Have you noticed that children grow? Yeah, you found that out. You did it. But some parents don't realize that growing is a process. And parents forget that children constantly grow. Don't parent your 12-year-old like you did when he was 11 or when he was 5. Don't parent your 13-year-old like you did when your child was 9. They say, you're not letting me grow up, and really they're right, you're not. So change your parenting as your child changes. And as your child gets older, you give your child freedom a little bit more. Because growing up is a process. You don't turn into an adult at age 18, boing, it happens automatically. No, it's a process, and you have to allow your child to grow. Look at these boxes. If you counted them, you would see there are 52 boxes in each row, and there are 18 rows. Each box represents 1 week in the life of your child from the time your child is born until your child turns 18. 52 weeks a year, 18 years. That means 936 weeks you have to parent your child. So often we forget that these are constantly fading away. They're knocking them off one at a time. The old poet wrote, "Seize the day." And do you know what? By the time your child goes in the first grade, a third of your parenting is over. That's right. A third of your parenting weeks are over when your child is 6 years old. That's hard to believe. Your child keeps growing up 1 week at a time. And you know what happens? Eventually, elementary school is over. And by the time your child is in 7th grade, 2/3 of your parenting is over. That's right. 2/3 of your parenting weeks have been completed. And little by little, the weeks that your child lives in adolescence pass by and you don't even notice it. They fade off into the distance, one at a time. These 936 weeks, from the time your child is born until his 18th birthday, pass by so quickly. And parents so often fail to consider this. We've got to seize the day. We've got to take advantage of every week. And we've got to do things appropriate for our children's age. When your child is a senior in high school, that's that line. They grow up so fast. And then it's off to college, and your parenting days are over. You're still mom or dad, but your role has changed. So don't fail to recognize that your child is consistently, quickly, and continually growing, and your parenting is fading away. The last thing we want to talk about will sound wrong. Don't teach your child to be religious. You say, whoa, what? What could you possibly mean by that? Think of religion as things that people do to impress God. They become meaningless, and when your child will be older, your child will cast them off. That's why so many 7th graders drop out of church. And then when kids go off to college, so many of them drop out of church. They were religious, but it was meaningless. You don't want your child to be religious. You want your child to have a beautiful, active relationship with God through Jesus Christ. Help your child to develop it. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour through the parents' greatest mistakes. And you can find more at herbowen.com, or videos just like this, plus resources to help you. Thanks for being with us.